welcome back to Joe's Allotment channel, and as always thank you to die behind the camera. I'd like to thank everyone who subscribed recently. Thank you for all your lovely comments and suggestions, much appreciated. And if you haven't already subscribed, and if you're new to the channel, what we're trying to do is do a weekly vlog of the jobs each week for a kitchen garden or allotment, and try and do that throughout a whole year. So you've got a sort of weekly list of jobs, sort of including sowing, planting, looking after the crops, harvesting, and what to do with how to preserve some of the crops, and even how to cook some of the crops. So that's what we're trying to do on a weekly basis. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. There's a subscribe button down the bottom here somewhere. So if you press that, you can follow our weekly journey throughout a whole allotment year. So week 2 of June, got quite a lot of jobs to do, so I'll crack on with the first one shortly. Yeah, so I'm just going to sow another 3 mammoth red cabbages here, which we sowed on the 15th of March. So these are like a follow-on crop to these ones, which are doing quite well and growing. I'm just going to line the holes first. A bit of lime in each hole. As always, plant them in very firmly, because like all brassicas, they like a nice firm soil. And then we're look at the root system on those, lovely. Completely covered, filled the pot. Just get those in there. Give them a good firming down. And these are quite good as well, because they're red for some reason. The pigeons don't attack the red cabbages. If they were white cabbages, they would have been decimated by the pigeons, but because they're red, they seem to leave them alone for some reason. Very strange. I'll give those a good firming, and I'll give those a watering in a moment. So that should get away quite well. That's it. That's that job done. So we've got a bit of space here at the end of the cucumber bed. We've actually got a little cucumber growing somewhere, I saw it today. Oh, here it is. First cucumber just coming through there. Lovely little cucumber. So we've got a little bit of space at the end here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to sow some successional cropping. Yeah, so I'm going to plant some beetroot, carrot and rocket in these little sections here. So what I'll do is I'll pre-water the area first. Give it a soak in. Let that sink in for a while. I'll do the beetroot first, which is a bulb tardy variety. So, there's a couple of seeds, 4 to 6 inches apart, and they can be thinned out later, or left to 2 or 3. It's not too bad. They can just grow in little clumps. That's the beetroot done. So I've got 2 varieties of carrots here. We've got a James Scarlet Intermediate, which is an old-fashioned sort of a broader variety of carrot, and an early nonce 2, which is a very good one for freezing. So I'll do a little section of each, I think. Very tiny seed, so try and sprinkle them quite lightly. That's those done. The thing I'm doing is Napoli rocket. Very fine seed. And these should be ready in sort of 4 to 6 weeks to follow on from the other ones we've planted, and it's lovely peppery flavour to your salads, so well worth growing rocket. Just cover those over lightly, give them a firm down. That's it. That's that bed completely filled now. So the leeks can be planted out this week as well. These were sown in a cold greenhouse on the 12th of March. We've got a couple of varieties here. We've got an elephant and a mussel burrow, both sown on the 12th of March. So what I'll do is I'll give them a good watering tonight. And I'll try and get them sown out tomorrow. So what we do is we take them out of the pot, trim off the roots, trim off the tops, dib a hole in the ground, put them in, and then don't fill it with soil, fill it with water. So I'll try and get those done hopefully tomorrow. But when I trim them, I actually keep the trimmings because we can use them in a soup or something, rather than just throw them away. So that's the job for tomorrow. We've got some coal rabbi here which we grew in toilet rolls. So what I do is I just put straight into the soil in the toilet rolls, and they'll break up in the ground and grow on. Just put them into the soil. That's it. They should go on quite well like that. I'm going to put some more brassicas into this bed here. We've got some Brussels sprouts, Evesham specials, which were sown on the 8th of April. Then we've got some, these ones are cauliflowers, all year round, 8th of April as well. And we've got some cabbage. Greyhound cabbages, sown on the 15th of March. So we'll put those into this bed here. So we've got 3 cabbages, greyhound cabbages, and the roots have actually filled the pot completely. Brilliant. And we've limed the holes, pre-limed the holes. So we just put those in, rather firm them in very well. Give them a good firming in. We'll actually cover these as well to stop the pigeons having a feast, which they love to with green cabbages for some reason. Get a good firming in. Press those in. So these are collies. This is a successional crop. We've got some collies in another bed over there already. So these are follow on from the other ones. It's firmed in nicely. Firm them in, and we'll give them a good watering, and then we'll get them covered So these are the Evesham Special Brussels. There's 4 of these. So what I do, I'll fill the rest of this bed with some kale. We've got a Black Magic one here. We planted on this 22nd of April, and that's our favourite variety really. It's a lovely kale, tastes really nice, and we also dry it, which gives us a nice powder which we can put in a lot of our recipes. And we've got a curly variety as well. So what I'll do is I'll fill the rest of this bed up with the kale now. And they go about 1 foot apart. And we'll have to cover these as well to protect them from the birds. Otherwise they get completely decimated. Especially where they're young and tender, they go for even more. So these were sown in a seed tray, and then I transplanted them into pots about 4 weeks ago. They're quite well established now, so it's a good time to plant them out. I'll be watering them or something now. Okay. So we purchased a big reel of this piping on eBay for about 10 quid, and it's been very useful. What we do is we put these on, and then we cover them with netting, and that'll stop the pigeons getting to the brassicas. So we'll cover those over now. So another job for week 2 of June is to earth up the potatoes. I've earthed up this little bed here. Got the main crop down the other plot as well, which needs earthing up. So I'll get on with that in the next few days as well, get those done. But earthing up improves the yield, keeps the weeds down, protects the plant as well. So these ones have now been earthed up. I might earth them up again in a short period later. Just dig the trenches a bit more and bring some more soil over the top of the potatoes. So that's the job for week 2 of June. So we germinated these parsnips in toilet rolls, and quite a few of them come up surprisingly. Because I use my own compost, we've got some tomatoes in there as well. So I'm going to put them in this bed here. So just put them straight in with the toilet roll. Well, these were sown on the 15th of March. These are hollow crown parsnips. I'll put them in this bed here. Just to show you, the roots have actually come out the bottom of the toilet rolls, so they'll get away really quickly. That's a little section of parsnips here. It's under a plum tree, but I don't think the shade's going to affect the parsnips that much, and hopefully we'll get a secondary crop of parsnips in the winter. So what I'll do is I'll water these in a moment, and that's those done. We've got 2 threads of bull beans which we planted about October, and they're now ready. You can see they're sort of bumping up, the beans are formed inside. So what we do is we chop them off at the bottom and leave the roots in the ground, because legumes form nitrogen which feeds the soil. They're a lovely crop, they're very nutritious, great form of protein and other antioxidants and vitamins, and they also give you a lot of mulching or composting material as well. So they're a really good crop to grow. So let's open one I can show you. Lovely bean. So what we do is we'll take these home, and we'll freeze quite a few as well. So we've done half a bed of broad beans and we've got a whole bucket full. So I need to take them home and process them, shell them and freeze them. So I'm going to do, I've left the roots in the ground. What I'm going to do is just do a few leeks tonight, I think. So just dib a hole. So 4 to 6 inches apart. So just pull out a little section. And what I'll do is I'll trim up the roots just a bit, not too much. Trim off the tops. What's down there for the time being? Just a matter of separating them out, dropping them into a hole. Just water those in a moment. Just a matter of filling the holes with water now, and they'll establish themselves in no time. So we've just got the rest of the pot to do now. So what I'll do is I'll clear some space on the other plot for most of those leeks, I think. I'll just fill this section up, and then I'll plant the rest down the other end. I think we'll take a few beetroots home today as well. Nice ones here. So get that whole section down. I think. Nice little crop of beetroot. Right, we dug up a few early potatoes as well, so they're nice fresh new potatoes. Take home some rockets and some endive. Got some rocket and endive there. Nice lettuce here. Take that home as well. Lovely little gem lettuce. And we'll get some parsley and coriander as well. Where's the coriander? This is the parsley, is it? Right. Take a nice bit of parsley home as well. And some salad stuff there as well. So that's not a bad little selection. So another job to do this week would be to crop some of this spinach. It's starting to go to seed already. So what I'll do is I'll pull those up. I've got some new spinach seedlings to put in to replace them. So we'll pull those up. We'll use quite a lot of it, and then we'll also maybe freeze some of it as well. So that's another job for this week. Week 2 of June. The strawberries have started turning red now, they're ready. So what we do is we pick some tonight, and we'll pick some over the rest of the week as well. So that's a lovely punnet of strawberries. These broad beans, or as our American cousins call them, fava beans. F-A-V-A, I think. Yeah, I mean they're a brilliant crop for us to grow. what we did, we planted, I think the best time of year to plant them actually is around the October period, November, because they're very hardy, they can go all the way through the winter, they germinate before the sort of winter sets in, and they carry on growing. And if you plant them that time of the year, you seem to avoid the black fly that sort of virtually eliminate anything you plant in the spring. Basically, they really go for the spring ones, but because they're a bit hardy and they've got a bit of growth on them, they seem to do better the autumn sown ones. We do though in early spring, we nip off the tops of the winter sown ones, the autumn sown ones, to stop the black fly, and we actually you can actually eat those. They're like a spinach substitute, so it's not wasteful. You can actually eat those. They're I think we've done a recipe for that earlier in the year, so if you'd like to look that one up, you can. Yeah, I mean, they're a brilliant crop if you want to grow some of your own protein. They're a lovely bean. Nutritionally, they're very good for you, full of vitamins and antioxidants. And not only do you get a lovely bean, you get lots of compostable material, not only in the stalks, etc., but when you take the pods off, you've got all the pods as well, you can compost down again. And the roots are brilliant as well. And you can see here we've taken out half a plot already, and we've left the roots in the ground, because what happens is the roots set nitrogen into the soil and feed the soil. So it's a brilliant way of actually helping your soil improve as well. So yeah, I mean, we use them quite a lot in casseroles, stews, make a lovely curry, or you can make a broad bean hummus. But yeah, they're a brilliant crop. Highly recommend them. And what we do is we keep some of our own pods every year for seeds. So I think they get adapted to your own soil as well. So the more you keep them, we keep a couple. You know, as we go through them and we're after we've harvested them, we look for the best pods and keep some of those from each plant probably. I'll just show you one actually. You know, when they're ready, they're all nice, and the bean is sort of starting to protrude out of the skin. They've got their own little sleeping bag. So look at that, lovely. So we've got 5 beans in there, lovely size. Beautiful bean to grow. So what we're going to do is we're going to crop these ones as well today. We've got another bed here, half a bed here. We've done half a bed the other day, and we've got another bed over there. We'll take them all out today. We'll take them home and we'll pod them. And what we do is we freeze quite a lot of them. We'll wash them, let them dry thoroughly, and then we freeze them. So yeah, I mean, I think we took 11 kilograms out of that little section there the other day. So I've probably estimated there's about 40 kilograms of beans here altogether. But when you once you've depodded them, you end up with about, I think we'll end up with about 10 kilograms probably out of the 40 kilograms. So the pods actually weigh quite a bit really. So yeah, but still well worth it. I think I looked online the other day for organic broad beans. I think they were going for something like £6 a kilogram or something. So £6 a kilogram in their pods. And I looked for organic frozen broad beans and I couldn't see any anywhere. So well worth the effort of growing them. They grow in virtually any type of soil. They're not very needy. And because we plant them in a no dig bed system, we don't even have to support them. We plant them so close together, they keep the weeds down and they support each other as they're growing as well. So it's a good way of growing them. So we'll now get on and pull some up and start harvesting them. Sorry, I'm eating the broad beans. Yeah, so what we do is we just cut them off right at the base, so the roots stay in the ground and they'll rot away in the ground and release their nitrogen back into the soil. So it's a matter of cutting them off. Take the beans off the stalks, and we'll put the beans in the black bag, take them home and process them. that's about half the bed done, and we've got a wheelbarrow full of compostable material already. So I'll empty this in the compost and we'll do the other half. And we've got probably, I don't know, getting on for quite a few kilograms of beans there, I suspect. Okay, so we've cleared one bed and we've actually filled up a whole sack. So I think we'll need the other bed till tomorrow or a couple of days time. So I'll put that on the compost bin as well, and we'll take these home and we'll take them out the plastic bags to stop them sweating and put them in some baskets or cardboard boxes, and we'll pod them when we get home the next couple of days, and we'll process them and freeze them. We had a lovely meal with them the other night actually. We had some steamed broad beans with some new potatoes that we just dug up, and a little bit of salad on top of it, mixed it with a lovely little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt and lemon. Absolutely lovely. So yeah, so I'd highly recommend, if you haven't grown them before, consider growing broad beans this autumn. We're going to tidy up the tomato plants. So I mean, pruning is for mainly sort of 4 reasons really why you prune. One is to keep them tidy and stop them sort of becoming really shrubby and too heavy for the plant. 2 is to remove growth that's too near the base of the plant. Because if it's right near the base of the plant, it can get it's touching the soil, or it gets splashed back from the soil. It can get diseases like early blight and other diseases that affect tomatoes. Another reason is to improve the air circulation. So if you thin it out a bit, the air can get around the plant a lot easier. Also the light can penetrate into the plant a lot easier as well. So when you're ripening the tomatoes, that's important. We haven't got a scientific method of doing it ourselves. It's the way we've always done it, and it seems to work for us. We mainly take off sort of stems near the base of the plant up to the first flowers. So we'll take off sort of some of the mainly leaves, and that just sort of thins it out a bit and improves it. So there's 2 different types of tomato. There's sort of vine type tomato, the intermediate tomato, and that can carry on growing. If you keep supporting it, it'll just carry on growing upwards and upwards. And then you've got the sort of determinate ones, which are like the bushy ones, and they only get to a certain size anyway. So we don't really prune a lot for these ones because they won't get that tall. But these ones will carry on growing and growing and growing. I mean, I've seen ones that have got to sort of 5-6 foot before on some people's plots, and they will carry on producing tomatoes as they grow up. I mean, these ones are right at the top of the plant already. So yeah, so we basically prune for those reasons, 4 main reasons. So we'll show you what we do now. What we do is we take off the yellowing leaves. An example there, die showing. So they're sort of they'll come off. And I think they mainly go yellow if they haven't got a lot of light. So that's another reason to sort of prune them, to let the light in, I think. So yeah, I mean, we remove the ones at the base of the plant because they're too near the ground. So like that stem there, take that off, too near the base of the ground. But what I'll do as well, I won't actually, some of these ones we're cutting off, we can actually, I'll show you later, but we keep some of the stems, put them in water, and we can produce new plants from those as well. So they don't all go to waste. So what I'll do is I'll trim them up a bit, put them in water, and they should root in sort of 7 to 10 days. Keep them in a sort of dark position to start with, not too much light, otherwise they go completely wilted. Keep them on a sort of windowsill. Once they've got a good root system, I'll pot them up, and we'll get a later tomato crop from those hopefully. So so you are cutting to sort of improve the yield, but by cutting them and producing new plants, you get another yield anyway from the plants that you produce from the stems.
Right, so that needs tying up, so we have to do that.
So that needs tying up, yeah. So we are getting some tomatoes on them already. Little bunches of tomatoes forming there. Look quite good. So yeah, anything near the base comes off. Anything that's damaged or diseased or yellowing, take those off. Because apparently when you're watering tomatoes, if they get splashed at the bottom, that can produce diseases as well.
So that's another one I'll probably trim up and keep there. So that's sort of the general idea. That's how we've just sort of done it for years. It might not be the most scientific method, but it works. And we always get a good tomato crop. So I don't think there's a really a wrong way of doing it. There's probably a more scientific method of doing it, but yeah, what works is good. And the peppers are starting to produce some peppers as well in here, which is good. I'm seeing a couple of peppers forming. There's a nice little pepper there coming through. Yeah, so it's looking quite good in here really. So that's what we've got to do. We've finish these ones off, and then we'll got to do the greenhouse down the allotment as well. Get those pruned as well. I need to give this a good watering as well tonight. It's very, very dry. It's been quite a hot day again today, so I'll give it a feed. Once we've pruned them, I'll give them some comfrey feed and a good watering as well. So I hope that's helpful to some people. Okay, so just to recap, what we've done, we've tidied them up a bit basically. Probably this one's a good example over here. It's all off the ground now. You can see the stem on the ground, so you shouldn't get any diseases penetrating the bottom leaves upwards. So it's an ongoing job really. We sort of do this every week really throughout the summer. I know a lot of advice is to cut stems off, but we don't like to cut the tomatoes off basically. We like to get as many tomatoes as we can. For example, there's a little sort of stem coming out here. It's got a lovely little bunch of tomatoes on it, so sort of reticent to chop off stems all over the place. But we have kept quite a few here. So I've got these in a jar. I've got these in a jar, so hopefully some of these will root, and we'll get some more plants out of these as well. So yeah, so that's the general idea. So it's basically to allow the air to circulate, keep them off the ground, let the sun penetrate the plant as well, and not let them get too bushy or shrubby or sort of out of control basically. So that's sort of the way we do it. Hope that's been useful to everybody. There's still the rest of the leeks to plant out, the rest of the broad beans to actually pull out the ground and harvest. So there's still a lot of work to do, but that's the general idea of what's the jobs for week 2 of June. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Leave us a like, leave us a comment, or subscribe to our channel and see what we've got to do in week 3 of June. Thanks again for watching. Happy gardening.